I'm trying to do is like what Geshe-la talked about. We're trying to look at this in some kind of reflective way. So it will be nothing new. And this is how we do this, because very often, especially with emptiness, with the truck, we seem to understand immediately, right? It's like I still remember His Holiness the Karmapa. I think he was 16 or 17, just out of Tibet. And he talked about scientists, and he says, of course a scientist understands that his car is just, parts and atoms and molecules and this and that, but if somebody bumps into that car, then it's not, somebody bumped into my atoms and molecules, and somebody bumped into my car, and that car becomes very solid. So even though we know it intellectually, and scientists have a very deep intellectual understanding of that the car, doesn't really exist from its own side, or doesn't exist the way that it appears when it gets damaged, because we labeled it my car, then this whole wonderful understanding goes out of the window. And we create negative karma. We get angry, we suffer. Forget about negative karma for the future. We suffer. Especially cars. You buy a new car, man, it's so much suffering. Don't buy new cars, what's the point? Like the fear of the first scratch. It's terrible. And when the first scratch comes, it's like the death of the car. It's just a scratch. But I tell you suffer more of the first scratch in your car than when the car is old and you have to bring it to the scrapyard. Isn't it? I can see that, maybe you agree. I see you all smiling. I also saw you smiling this morning in the meditation when I said your phone is gone. I guarantee you will not be smiling if your phone is gone. I don't know if you were to Shita when we didn't find the money belt of that woman. Wow! Then we found it. It was just lost, but it was like, ooh. So that's what I mean, we think we understand, because that would be the kind of thing, The phone is not here anymore. The phone doesn't inherently exist and always has to be here. When somebody takes it, then it disappears. But the first moment of realizing that the phone is not here, or thinking that the phone is not here. This is so great with the Tibet masters. I don't know if you remember Geshe-la, who was abbot in Bodh Gaya of the Namgyal monastery. Short, small meditator, a little bit like Genlop Sangyatso. Who talks out of experience also, but great scholar. He looked like round and scruggy and not shaved and, and funny, and you can think it just a nice grandfather or something. So then when I led him down the stairs, he was teaching, and there was all the shoes right there. And he was looking, and then he started laughing, and I was like, Geshe-la, what is it? He said, I just saw it, wow, I just saw it. I said, what? He said, my self-cherishing mind who said, somebody stole my shoes. That's the first thing. You don't see your shoes, especially in India, somebody stole them. Somebody else, it's somebody else's fault. Not me I can't remember where I put them. It's somebody stole them. And then we believe in that very, very firmly. And then what is it? We suffer. This is why this is so important. Because it's obvious that if you live against natural laws, we suffer. We live against the natural law of impermanence. We live against the natural law of death. So how can we expect to be happy, to have a happy life, when we think death is something unnatural? And we all know that people can die at any moment, because the body is very fragile. We don't live in accord with that view, or with that reality. Just like on a level that we can understand, we don't live in accord with how things exist. So forget about this very subtle level. Right? Okay, so we're trying to dismantle ourselves. Maybe you can turn down the things, and if anybody loses its parts, then we'll help them find again. Not to worry. If you lose your eye, this is also at the end, answer to Shita, at the end of that meditation, a woman refused to leave the Gompa. She was crying, but out of fury. She was furious. I said, what is it? And she says, I couldn't find it, but I know that it exists. And I said, that's it. that is your object of negation. You know, but it exists. I said, well. So, like, you know, you can get really furious in that meditation. Your ego puts out all kinds of things for you not to be able to calm down. So let's just try. Okay. Don't write. Again, just relax. These are kind of things that, you know, you heard so many things this afternoon. And this will be a little bit the essence of it. So don't write. Just relax, and whatever you understand, you understand. And whatever you don't, you know, as we said, it's very profound. You have to hear this many, many, many times. I thought maybe after 2 years I had understood the object of negation. Then Jagger Rinpoche says it took him 40 years to understand the object of negation. And then I thought, oh, maybe I haven't understood it. Never say I understand when it comes to emptiness and you see that you still suffer. Yeah, that means you haven't understood. Okay, so just relax. No hurry, I would say. No hurry. Right, straight back. Sit full of self-confidence. And try to sit still also. Whenever your body moves, then also the mind moves. And so we need a very still and quiet mind to investigate. Train the body to be still by not kind of following every wind that it wants to move. Just smile and tell the body, okay, when the meditation is finished, then we will move. Not now. With a lot of self-confidence in a relaxed but firm way. And just put the awareness on the breath for a short while. Okay, so when we do this meditation, we have to be really clear what we are refuting. That we're not refuting existence. What we're trying to see or what we're trying to refute is inherent, real, independent, existing from its own side existence. And what we're trying to see is that whatever appears does not exist the way that it appears. It appears in a certain way. When you analyze, you see it exists in a different way. So this 4-point analysis, as it says, has 4 points. First you have to identify the object of negation. Because if you don't know it, then very often what happens is that you negate too much. You do negate existence. So we're not negating a conventionally existing I, the label that we give to this body and the mind. One is negating an I or a me that seems to exist separate, independent of the body and the mind. A third entity almost. You might have felt it in the meditation this morning, especially when I got hurt. I hurt others. I lost something. then it just jumps in, out of nowhere. We don't know where it comes from. If we would be reasonable, we would see that one depends on thought. If you don't think I, there's no feeling of I. So we're talking about an exaggerated sense of I when things are difficult. Or as Maya said, when you fall asleep on your meditation cushion and you drop off, and then you wake up. Sometimes they take the example, you're about to fall off a cliff. An instinctive grasping at an I don't want to die. You wouldn't think, I don't want the body to smash on the ground. Or a very good example is when you get accused of something that you haven't done. So imagine walking out of a shop and the alarm system goes off. Everybody looks at you, points the finger at you and says, thief. And you go, who? Me? That one. How would you feel? Would you feel an I, and what would you say? You would immediately say, I did not take anything. You wouldn't say, my hands did not take anything. Or the mind didn't plan to steal. I did not take anything. And how does that I at that moment appear to you? Does it appear as merely labeled? Or does it appear as real existence? Separate from the body and the mind, just check. Does it appear as merely labeled, conventionally, just a name? Allow the mind to become subtle and really examine. If it fades again, imagine the situation. Somebody's accusing you. You took something. It's not true. I did not take anything. Does that I appear as merely labeled? Or does it appear as really existent from its own side? Independent, separate from the body and the mind. Okay, so if something exists really, it has to be findable. And with this I that we believe so much that it exists, if we don't analyze, if we don't look, it seems to be real and existing. But the more you analyze, we become confused. Not really like that, but also not really like that. So how could it exist if it does exist? Maybe you remember, it either exists oneness with the parts or separate from the parts. If you can think of another mode of existence, then try. So first one looks, is it one with its parts? Meaning not one on top of the part, meaning one with its part. Is it the parts? So we have, if we want to be simple, two parts, body and mind. Let's look in the body. Is the I the body? So if somebody would ask you, what are you doing? You would say, I sit. So what is sitting? Is the I sitting or is the body sitting? It's the body who is sitting, is it? Do you feel that you are your body when you look at it with this quiet mind now? I'm pretty sure everybody in their mind says, no, of course I'm not my body. So you don't sit then, in that case? So you have the body that is sitting, you're not the body, and you have an I that is sitting. So you have two things sitting? I know that traditionally one goes through all the parts of the body. But I think maybe we don't need to do that, because again, if I just ask you, is the I the body? If yes, which part of the body? We can definitely say no. We do identify with the body sometimes. Somebody says, wow, you put on a lot of weight. We go, oh. Somebody says, wow, you lost a lot of weight. Oh. It's the body, it's not you. No, don't be proud when somebody says you have a beautiful body if you know that you're not your body. Can you see how confused we are? Okay, and the other part is the mind. And this is what we did a bit this morning, actually. The mind is an ever-changing flow of different experiences, thoughts, feelings, perceptions, emotions, sometimes sad, sometimes happy. For all of these states we say I am sad, I am happy, I am loving, I am hateful, I am confused, now I know. They're totally different, these states of mind. And if I ask you now, and you're kind of quiet, do you really feel that you are your mind? Or is there some I who has sadness or happiness or knowledge or dullness or whatever? Again, it's this whole thing about appearance. Does it appear as if this I is merely labeled on the mind? Because we can't say I'm sad, I'm happy, I'm confused. There's nothing wrong with this. But does it appear as if this I that is sad is merely labeled? Or does it appear as being the possessor of sadness, anger, hate, and so on? Again, how does it appear? And how does it exist? I mean, the conclusion from this analysis is quite simple. If the I were one with its parts, we would have to have so many I's. Because the body also has many parts, the mind has many parts. Is it like that? I mean, if the I would be oneness with the parts, at least we would need two. One for the body, one for the mind. So if the I is the body, then you couldn't say, I'm sad. If the I is the mind, you couldn't say, I have a headache, or I'm hungry. But we can say these things. It's not wrong to say, I'm hungry, I'm sad. But in these moments, does the I appear as merely labelled on the body or the mind? Okay, and the other possibility is that it's separate from the body and the mind. Like my body, my mind. Well, whose body and whose mind? Separate means you could take away the mind and you could take away the body, and you would still have an I that you could clearly state, this is the I. Like the example that is being used, if you have a cow, a sheep and a dog, you can take away the cow and the sheep and you still have the dog. Now, if you take away your body and your mind, what can you still have? Try to come up with some conclusions. Use your mind and your intelligence. Don't just wait until I say the next thing. How does it appear and how does it exist? Can the I exist separate from body and the mind? Or is the I dependent on the body and the mind? It appears as if the I is the possessor of the body and the mind. But try to imagine something that you can do that is neither the body nor the mind. And you say, I walk, it's the body that walks. I sleep, it's the body and the mind that sleeps. I eat, it's the body that eats. I think, it's the mind that thinks. What can you do where you could just say, I, that would have a meaning? We do understand that the body changes. I mean, all you have to do is look at pictures. We understand that the mind changes because every time something new comes in, we have a different mind. But there seems to be something more, something that stays. Like, you know, sometimes people say, but I need this I because otherwise how can I remember what happened yesterday? And it seems to be the same I that remembers what happened yesterday. How can that be? is an I that remembers something not different from an I that does not remember it because it hasn't happened yet? An inherent, unchanging I, separate from the body and the mind. Does that appear? Does it feel like that? Or does it feel like merely labeled? A body and a mind changing moment by moment, flowing through time, changing all the time. Nothing fixed, nothing solid, concrete about this. Okay, so when you do these meditations, sometimes you can get really scared. Because we negate too much, we negate existence. The ego, the mind goes, or the mind or I, the self-cherishing goes, but I do exist, like this woman. I could not find the I, but I know that it's there. This is so classical. We're so used to that view that there's a separate I, that even we can't find it, we're still convinced that it's there. Kind of, I just didn't look in the right way. Where else could you look for this seemingly separate, self-existent, independent I? Being able to stand on its own without needing the body or the mind. Again, I think, at the beginning of these meditations and studying, the main point is that we understand it doesn't seem or feel or look or appear the way that it exists. We can only look, how does it appear? Can it exist the way that it appears? If it does exist, it has to be findable. Either oneness with this part, most probably we come to the conclusion no, but still it's connected to the parts. Because we can say, yes, I'm hungry, I'm sad, I'm angry, I'm happy. So it's not completely oneness with the parts, but also not completely not oneness with the parts. Or separate from the parts. Okay, so in general, with these meditations, one doesn't really try to see how the I exists, rather understand how it cannot exist, but still it's good to finish always so that you don't fall into non-existence, that you think I do exist. The I does exist, conventionally, a label that we give to this body and mind, a merely labeled I or me that knows who you are. convention. And even though it is just a convention, it has every right to be happy. Because that's the purpose of these practices. So again, after all this analysis, just look. How does it appear now? Still as solid and concrete? As when somebody accuses you of having stolen something. Who is hearing? I am hearing. Do you need an eye in order to hear? Do you have an ear consciousness? A sound. At the preceding moment of consciousness, you hear. No need for a separate eye that hears. But does it appear like that? Again, say, I hear. What hears? Is the eye that hears the same as the eye that when the sound is gone? Okay. You can relax. You can relax. Maybe the body can relax, maybe the mind can relax. Okay, so this you do again and again and again and again. And well, now it seems like a little bit kind of theory and all this, but I tell you, it is really helpful if you are overcome with panic, fear, anger, hurt, and all that. It's really helpful. Okay, I hurt. You know, what is this eye? Well, it's in the body. Yeah, you can feel it in the body, but is it the body? You know, we can feel it, definitely. If somebody hurts you, you can feel it in the body. It's right here. So it seems to exist. But the more you look for it, you can't find. And then the hurt does go, because that one that is creating it, that is clinging to this pain. They did this to me, you know. Nobody says, oh, they insulted my mind and told the mind that it is stupid. Nobody says like, oh, you know, they told the body that it is fat, old. But anyway, it doesn't matter because the body can't really hear, because it's the ear consciousness that it only hears, and the ear consciousness is never fat, so no need to get upset. And the body is fat, that is true. No big deal. No big deal. You see, this eye it likes problems. This is the thing. No eye, no problem. No problems, no eye. This is, I think, how it goes also a little bit. You can really see that. The smaller your eye, and I think we mistake a small eye with a coward. A coward has a huge sense of eye, because there's a lot of fear. Yeah. Somebody who's courageous, relaxed, doesn't need to be special. There's a very small sense of eye. By the way, we'll destroy it in the next meditation. We'll try to do some tonglen. Some mild tonglen, okay? Not aggressive. You see, so that's another thing, where we Westerners, we have to be skillful. You know, the Tibetans, they go like, you know, use atomic weapons against this eye and use like swords and scorpions and I don't know, chase it away. We couldn't do that because our ego is so sensitive and so easily hurt. Man, it's so huge. The target for other people to hurt us, the target that we put up, is so big. Especially if there's God. Hurting with words, you know. It's so easy to upset Israelis, to make them grumpy and kind of, you know. Please don't get the wrong idea. I really like you. Because as Geshe-la said, you're really sharp and you really question everything, so that's very good. But maybe not the people who are sitting here. I don't know if you belong to that. But when I'm out in the street, it's so easy to make people upset. And they look upon this as a sign of strength, to get upset really quickly. And to be aggressive really quickly. For them it's like, I'm strong, look, I'm here. I mean, how more wrong can you be? Yeah. It's so nice, you know, and the Dalai Lama says, being able to forgive, being able to be patient, loving, that's a sign of inner strength. And it's true, then nobody can upset you. Words cannot upset. Of course people can harm you physically, but with words, you know. If this eye wouldn't jump in every time I just feel hurt, we would analyze it. Okay, he says I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's true, I made a mistake. I can learn from this mistake. Why would I, you know, there's so many idiots in this world. Why not me? And then, you know, the Mahayana practitioners say, okay, I'll take the role as the idiot. Somebody has to be the idiot, I'll be the idiot. That's okay. It's so much more relaxing to be an idiot than to be a highly intelligent person. An idiot, nobody expects anything from you. You do something right, everybody is happy.
It's like an old car.
Yeah, your old car works, you're so happy, you know. The new car, a little bit of, something's wrong. We totally do it the wrong way around. We want to be happy and we do it totally the wrong way around. Also on a conventional level. Totally, you know. Or like we say, you know, we're happy and we can appreciate and be grateful when things are rare. But look how we fill our shops. Nothing is rare anymore. We can buy anything the whole year round. When we were kids, we used to be happy when there's strawberries. Now you can buy strawberries all year round. You know, you can get things from Thailand and from Switzerland. Now Fred just said there's a Swiss shop open somewhere where you can buy all the things you can buy in Switzerland. I don't need to bring you Swiss chocolate anymore. Actually, some of the Swiss chocolate I gave you, I bought here in Israel because I ran out of it. It's just more expensive, you know, that's what it is. But it's the same chocolate, I think. I mean, this is it. We go, it's the same chocolate. Why? Because it's the same wrapper. Who knows if it's really the same? Because I don't even look made in Switzerland. They could just say Lindt, and then my mind implies, boom, Switzerland. As if Lindt is inherent to Switzerland. Could be made in Turkey, who knows?
Even the Swiss chocolate is made in South Korea.
Yeah, sometimes they do actually. Susha, I think, is made in Germany because Kraft bought it. And Kraft is American. So it's like, you know, and finally then Nestle comes and buys everybody else together and they give it a different name because they have a bad reputation. This is also the emptiness of economy. There it works really well because if it would be inherently existing there, nothing could change. Okay, good. So now we have dinner. It's 7:15, so maybe we meet 8:15. Is okay? 1 hour is enough. And please be mindful of the silence. I know you will have a lot of questions and all this. So just bear with them. Just relax. Nobody is expecting you to understand all this. Why do you put this pressure on yourself? You know, Geshe-la and me and all the other teachers, what you hear is, this is difficult to understand. It's very profound. You have to hear this again and again and again and again. You have to meditate on this again and again and again and again. Why do you want to be the only one who understands it immediately? Just go with the crowd. Everybody needed a little. I haven't understood a thing, but it's okay. But even understand it like, you know, just a glimpse makes you much more relaxed. It really does. It really does. Especially if you have low self-confidence. It's so helpful. There's nobody there. There's this great book by Ayakim, I don't know if you know it, Being Nobody, Going Nowhere. That was my first Buddhist book. I was so inspired by this, you know. But then when we hear it, we think that there's a somebody who will be a nobody. And then we get frightened. There won't be anybody who is a nobody. Nobody means nobody. Just going with the flow, you know. Not special. The moment you want to be special, there's a problem. When somebody doesn't see your specialness, there's a problem. You get hurt. Okay, please enjoy your dinner. And see you again in an hour. Oh, you don't have to wait for me, I'll just finish my thing.